of Obama. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's a piece, big piece, New York Times Magazine, coming this weekend. It is entitled, "Does Anyone Have a Grip on the GOP?" The subhead, "The Republican Elite Tries to Take Its Party Back." This article prints like 24 pages. It is a major New York Times Magazine piece. It confirms everything that I have thought, everything I have speculated, everything I have said about the battle between the Republican elite and the Tea Party. You read this, I can't read the whole thing on the program, and I don't intend to. I've got some highlights or quotes that are illustrative here. But this is an open declaration of war from the GOP elites to the Tea Party, and it's right there in the New York Times. And these Republican establishment types are more than willing to be quoted by name. And what I think it all means is they think that they've beaten the Tea Party hordes back. You realize that Chuck Schumer and a bunch of Democrats are running around campaigning now against the Tea Party. The Tea Party poses the greatest threat to this country. The Tea Party is a bunch of racist, sexist bigots. This is the message, and the Republican elite, while not joining word for word that message, still joining with the Democrats the notion that the Tea Party is a problem and needs to be beaten back. Now, this piece in the New York Times illustrates the obstacles Tea Party lawmakers are up against. All these Republican freshmen in the House, for example. This article makes it plain how difficult their job is. There's even a section in this story on compromise. The bad kind of compromise. The kind of compromise that Republicans have been known for. Get along with the Democrats, please the media, show that we're not the unreasonable Tea Party types. That's what's shaking down here. The Tea Party is under assault from the Democrats and the Republican elite, and now the battle has been brought full for in the pages of the New York Times Magazine. Here's some quotes from various people in this story. Bill Kristol on the Tea Party, quote, "It's an infantile form of conservatism." Scott Reed, veteran strategist and lobbyist, "I think it's waning now," talking to the reporter of the story about the Tea Party's influence. Party leaders have managed to bleed some of the anti-establishment intensity out of the movement, Scott Reed says, by slyly embracing Tea Party sympathizers in Congress rather than treating them as those people. Now, did he mean to say that the party was slowly co-opting the Tea Partiers? Well, we're trying to, Reed said, and that's the secret to politics, trying to control a segment of people without those people recognizing you're trying to control them. This is a Republican consultant talking about how to neutralize the Tea Party. John Feary, a lobbyist who was once a senior House aide, I think, to Denny Hastert, is also quoted. "The thing I get a kick out of is these Tea Party people calling me a rhino. No, guys, I've been a Republican all along. You go off on your own little world and then come back and say it's your party. Well, this ain't your party." Vin Weber, R.E., the Tea Party lawmakers. Vin Weber, former member of Congress, Minnesota, now big-time lobbyist and Republican consultant. Vin Weber. "One thing I do notice about him is that when I ask him, so how are you enjoying it?" Talking about the Tea Party members of Congress. "How are you enjoying it?" Almost none of them say, "Oh, geez, I'm really loving this." They all say some version of, "This is not what I'd want to be doing, but I've got to do it for the country." Weber seemed genuinely surprised that this aversion to Washington didn't melt away once they arrived in town. Gosh, what have we always speculated here? Or what have we always known? One of the biggest problems conservatives run around the country, campaign, get elected on conservatism, go to Washington, get corrupted and co-opted by the culture there. Here's Vin Weber admitting it. Vin Weber admitting it and shocked and stunned that the Tea Party guys haven't fallen for it yet. He says he's surprised. Yeah, they're not really loving this. They're here not doing what they want to do. They're trying to save the country. Weber seemed genuinely surprised that this aversion to Washington didn't melt away once they got to town. He says, I can just tell you, when I came to Congress, we were rabble-rousers, but boy, if you'd asked any of us 6 months into it how we were enjoying it, we would have said this is the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. It just struck me, and it's part and parcel as anti-government mindset. Meaning, we in the Republican Party, we're not anti-government. These Tea Party anti-government people, why, they're so damn serious they can't enjoy this. They don't understand the kind of power they've got. They don't realize the fun they could be having. We got here, well, we had a ball. We just fell right into it, and we wanted to become big parts of it. I'm adding my own words here, but it's how I'm interpreting what Weber means. Yeah, it just struck me. Weber said it's part and parcel of this anti-government mindset. This is a reporter writing. I wondered if maybe the Tea Partiers' contempt for Washington was just a kind of outsider's shtick. Weber replied glumly, I'd feel better about it if I thought it was. But Weber says, I think these people are genuinely anti-Washington. Makes him nervous. If they're anti-Washington, we don't want them here. Charlie Black, longtime Republican strategist and lobbyist, confidently predicted when he talked to the New York Times reporter about the more radical members of the freshman class, they'll become the establishment. You wait. I thought George Will said there was no Republican establishment anymore. I thought the Republican establishment itself was trying to say there was no establishment in recent weeks. I thought they were all saying that's just a fiction of everybody's imagination. Here's Charlie Black. Yeah, they'll become the establishment. They'll become, talking about the Tea Party freshmen, they'll become the establishment in time. Not worried about it. Bill Kristol again. I've been slightly, not worried, but I've just regarded it as one of the things I can do as a genuine Tea Party sympathizer to counsel the Tea Party types to be sensible, not go overboard, and not go in the wrong direction. From my point of view, I wouldn't want them to win all of their fights. Wants them to lose some. Bill Kristol wants Tea Party to lose some. The New York Times is worried that the wrong people might get control of the Republican. That's what this story is about. The reason why this story is running is because of abject fear of the Tea Party. The Washington elite love a Republican elite that agrees to be second fiddle. The media and the Washington elite love a Republican elite who agree to be the minority. The Washington elite, the New York Times, the media love a Republican elite that understands its place is number two in the pecking order. So the New York Times is now worried the wrong people might get control of the GOP. And you know how concerned the New York Times is about the well-being of the Republican Party. They need the party to maintain its mindset of second fiddle, second place, always on defense, always not really in the clique, striving to get in it. That's what they want the Republican Party to be, and the Tea Party threatens that. Scott Reed, yep, trying to. That's the secret of politics, trying to control a segment of people without those people recognizing you're trying to control them. Luckily, none of these hicks in the Tea Party would ever read the New York Times, so they won't figure out what's being done to them. Stop and think of this. Here are these Republican elites announcing all of this, being quoted by name in the New York Times Sunday magazine, as though the Tea Party members of Congress are never going to find out about this. It's a I don't know, open declaration of war. What we've always known is going on, what they've always denied is going on. Here it's happening. And now the New York Times proudly writes a cover story in this weekend's magazine. 7,028 words, 73 paragraphs. From the New York Times article, George Will recently said there is no such thing as the Republican establishment, which is a little like Michael Douglas saying there's no such thing as Hollywood. That's from the article. That's not me.